Okay, guys, welcome back, and yeah, thank you for joining in. So here we're gonna first, of course, do a recap of what we did before, and we're gonna point out some main mistakes we did, and of course, we're gonna try to correct them. So welcome everyone. I am early. I try always to be early. So I have a phone here for the chat, so that's the best I have so far. So everything you write, I'm gonna be able to see that on real time, and it's a feature. Yeah, happy to. Yeah, thanks so much for joining in. I'm happy to find you here, and of course, if I will, not if I will need some help. So we're gonna start with that right off the bat. So let's do a recap of what we did before. At least that's how I view the things, and pretty much we can start into moving forward. Now, one quick announcement I can make is that if you find such content useful, you can always decide to become a patron where you can get access to a lot of tools, but the main thing is that you can support my work. Now, with that being said, in the last stream, what we did is we made one huge mistake, and that was not reading documentation. Yeah, we did a little bit, but not so much, which at the end turned out to be an issue because we debugged for, let's say, an hour, and the exact issue was the misspelled class name, which we wasted a lot of time on. But what we did is we have pulled actually two images from Mythic. One of them is the example container, which is somewhat of a template for our instance, for our agent, and also Medusa, because I'm a Python guy and I love reading Python code because I think it's super easy. And we pretty much did that. So we tried to reverse the already established agent, in that case Medusa, and what we had. So, oh, that's my shotgun, by the way, the packet which you're gonna get added if you become my patron. So let me go there to file, open folder on the Medusa tab. All right. And yeah, so what we didn't find so far is that first the file structure of the whole project. Now we need to, I think its feature is gonna say, but I think we have to keep the structure as it is here. So all the code is inside payload types. Then we have a folder name with our agent's name. Then we have agent code, which is pretty much the code that's going to be executed on the client side. So for instance, these are the actual commands and what they're gonna do. For example, we can do, let's say, the most simple one, which is exit, and you can indeed see that we define a function, and that function just do os.exit, and that's about it. So on the agent code, we have actually, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Yeah, I think it's better now. So on the agent code, we have the core code that is going to be executed on the client machine. However, on the agent functions, so inside, in that case, Mythic, and then we have agent functions, we have all the code that is like the chain to the Mythic environment. That's how I view the things. Because here we can indeed see the commands which we can find here, but they are different and they are about just, I think, making the chain to the Mythic. So in that case, if we go to the exit command, which is here, which is where? Yeah, here. You can see that we have more than just exiting a process. We have arguments, we have the definition of the command, and I believe that's how you can define the command in order to be, let's say, visible from Mythic, and you can have its option there. So when you create a command, you're gonna have the command option like right here. And now, as you can see, we have create tasking. So I believe that's what it's calling the original code with, then execute the command. So I believe we ended up with that thing right here. So in the previous video, we were able to pretty much add a command from actually here, and when we created an agent, well, we actually observed the command and what it did. Now, the plan for today is relatively similar, but we're gonna take a look at some documentation. So if you hate doing documentation, sorry, you can wait for this video to be uploaded, because without looking at the docs, we're gonna have super hard time. So it's better to do it. So in that case, gonna do Mythic payload development. I think it was like that. All right, disable proxy. Yeah, that's the one. And now I believe it makes more sense to actually also we have a comment. Medusa is also pretty outdated. In general, things are the same, but if you look at something like Apple's command.py, functions you will see things are a little different and more explicit. All right, so it looks like we're gonna jump into something different because Medusa is outdated. Yeah, thank you for pointing it out. Okay, so we went through that in the previous time. We don't need to do it again. The point is that that's how we can build agent. We have to transfer it inside a folder called installed instances, and then we can build at, and that's how we can operate with it. But now my idea is to somehow create an agent that is not there because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, we have C# several agents. We have one .NET Core, so great job by Check Commander and all the team. My idea is to create something like a PowerShell agent, which Mythic currently do not have, and we need to, of course, build the structure. So for that case, in order for us to build a PowerShell agent, the PowerShell code would be here inside the what was it, agent code. But again in agent function, we still gonna have to code in Python because I think that's we have to choose between Python and Go. Yeah. So the point here is to understand how the HTTP profile accepts communication, and yeah, and also how we can use that template to create an agent and communicate with it. So in the past hours, I had a quick chat with its feature, and he pointed out that inside the where was it? So not the command agent messages, maybe no agent message format. Yeah, that's the one. So he pointed out this exact documentation, and that's how we have to call our agent in order for it to communicate over HTTP agent. HTTP payload type. Yeah. And essentially, it turned out that we can pass, as far as I get it, we can pass our payload in few formats. We can do it via post request in the body, the usual one. We can do in a get request in a first header value. We can do in a get request in first cookie value. And we can do in a message content in first query parameter. So we have three options of passing our payload in get requests, and of course one with post. And I think it's possible to actually chain them and randomize them because this can be, I believe, for OPSEC reasons. And how the whole payload is structured is first we have the whole payload is in base 64, and that base 64 combines a UUID, which we chatted, but I need to see that in practice in order to visualize and understand it. But essentially, what happens is Mythic generates a UUID when you generate a payload, and that's the UUID that you're going to need to use for the first step. And we combine that UUID with the encrypted, optionally, JSON payload of your choice. I think that that's the case. So we're going to need to create some kind of agent, and this agent would need to have different functions such as check-in, get task, and so on. And for example, what matters is the parameters of the message. So as far as I get it, we have this message template, which is base 64 encoded. And this message template can be used in either post request or in three separate ways on get requests. That's how I view it. But in theory, it's all right. But let's see how we can code that. Oh yeah. But really appreciate your engagement with the stream, brother. So yeah, pretty much that's the action. So but let's try to read it. So the UID varies based on the phase of the agent. Initial check-in, staging, fully stage. Okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So based on what your payload in what state is, you have three different UUIDs. So when you generate a payload, you have your initial UID from Mythic, and that's what we need to code in our builder.py, I believe. And then when it's checked in, it's getting assigned to different UID. And also, if you have some kind of a staged options, then the staging parts, no matter how much they are, you're gonna have another UID. So that's quite nice. Okay. It's a 36 character long format, like that. All right. Then the NC block. This is the section. This section is encrypted typically by AES256 key. I think we should not bother at that at the first place, because I mean we want to create an agent from scratch, and encryption is gonna make the thing super much difficult. So and more complex. So I believe it should be possible to avoid this step so far, just to get our initial payload to run, and after we have some kind of a base, then we can switch that on and try to encrypt the payload. But so far, I believe it's gonna be easier if we. Oh, we can use plain text. Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be perfect. Nice. Yeah, that's gonna make the things super easier. Then we have the JSON, which is the actual message that's being sent to Mythic or from Mythic to agent. Okay, so they both communicate with the same kind of format. If you're doing your own custom message format and language and translation container, yeah, we're not gonna do that so far. Maybe in the future, but not so far. Then will it be possible to deploy custom encryption mechanism, something like using multiple headers to build the key dynamically? Maybe yeah, because why should not be? I mean, everything's open source. Open source, you can tweak it, but maybe it should be possible. Yeah, but as mentioned, we are still at the very beginning, so we're not gonna focus on things that gonna make us complicated. We're gonna build one step at a time. And yeah, we just need a translator container. So you have to tell Mythic how to encrypt and decrypt, which makes complete sense. Yeah. So now then we have the action. So first thing here, key thing, sorry, is the UID, second JSON message body, and then we have the action. Now the action. Stage in RSA. So maybe that's right for exchanging keys. That's how I see it. We have the check-in, so that's pretty much, I believe, the initial communication between your agent and the server. We have get tasking, which I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but we're gonna read about it. We have post response and translation staging. Yeah, if we do that at our own. Okay. Now, this section varies based on the actions being performed. All right. The different variations here can be found in here, here, and there. Okay, so the initial check-in is most likely the next step, so I'm gonna leave that for later. Then we have delegates. This section contains messages from other agents that are being passed along. This is how messages from nested peer-to-peer agents can be forwarded through the egress callback. Ah, that was the thing. So imagine you are. Yeah, I need to draw that. So imagine you have. At least just to be sure that we are on the same thing. So we have something like let's say firewall. We have. Actually, I'm not going to do that. We have server 1, network 1, which has server 1, and here we have network 2, and here we have server 2. So I think that delegation is if we need and to pretty much do the same, do the following. So imagine that's the Mythic server, and that's needed if, for example, we have our initial beacon from here. That's the initial one. But we want to have another one, but not directly, but go from the first one. So we can do like that. And then the beacon 2 is going to communicate to us over the first initial beacon. I think that's what the delegate's all about. So if you need to have some kind of egress connection and nested connection between beacons, like such, I think we then have to use that one there. Yeah, spot on. I think that's supposed to be correct. But yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so of course, not now. We're not gonna do that now. Our main part is to build the first thing. Okay. Oh yeah, that means correct. Yeah, sorry, I'm not native English speaker, so yeah, yeah, I don't get all the things. When you see something like UID plus ENC block, that's referring to byte concatenation of two values. You don't need to do anything specific, processing or whatnot. Just right after the first element bytes, put the second element bytes. Okay, good. So let's take a few concrete examples without encryption and already base64 decoded. We have the UID and we have the JSON, which makes sense as you read the documentation. Guys, if you have the same error as me as before, read the docs. It makes more sense when you do so. Yeah, so we have the UID and you have the JSON file. So it's a standard JSON with the UID. That's about the checking part. Get tasks. We have a follow. Yeah, thanks so much. Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate it so much. We have another one, get tasking with P2P. That's the nested one, I believe. And post a response. So we have another. What's that? Maybe that's used for somehow create the response inside the Mythic server because we have the output. Pretty much, if we do post response, does that save the output to the Mythic UI? I'm not sure. Because that's what it seems to me. We have the task ID, we have completed, and we have user output. So that means that we've completed these tasks, and that's the output. So that should be saved in the agent, in the server. Yep, it's how an agent sends a response back. Yeah, okay. Okay, good. Amazing. And about get tasking, got it. Guys, got it. We have the check-in, which is the initial callback. So when you execute the beacon, the check-in is executed and you get a beacon in quotes. Then in each n interval of seconds, you execute the get tasking just to see the agent to see if you issue tasks from your Mythic. And when that happens, you need to call post response to execute the tasks and save the response to the Mythic. So you have that one first, that one on time interval, and each thing that's executed, we have to execute this one there. Okay, we're getting somewhere. And by the way, you have a slight bug with documentation. Just to report that the hashtag is down there, so it's like a missed space or empty line. All right, so if you want to have complete custom agent message format, we don't need that. There's only two things you have to do: base64 the message, and the first byte must be the UUID. All right, good. So we have some theoretical knowledge about what to do. So that's why we have to read more docs. All right. And pretty much, that's like something general because all the hashtags are misplaced. That's strange. But yeah, you have to check that out. Now on the check-in part, that's super important. That's like the first. If we manage to do a check-in in that stream, it should be super nice. But let's see. All right, so you will see a bunch of UIDs mentioned throughout this section. A UID are UID v4 formatted. All right, so 36 characters in length. All right. In general, the UIDs concatenate with the encrypted message, provide a way to give context to the encrypted message without requiring a lot of extra P's. All right, yeah, that's okay. The outer, never mind. UID gives Mythic information about how to decrypt or interpret the following encrypted block in general. We have first payload UID. As the outer UID tells Mythic to look up the payload UID, then look up the CD profile associated with it, find the parameter called AES-PSK, and then use that as a key to decrypt the message. Okay. We have temp UID. As the outer UID tells Mythic that this is a staging process, so look up at the UID in the staging database to see information about the block. such as if it's an error encrypted block or if it's a part of the few human key exchange. Then we have the callback UID, as the outer UID tells Mythic that this is a full callback with an established encryption key or in plain text. Okay, so these I believe are important. So, however, when you payload first execute, it doesn't have a callback UID. It's just a payload UID. This is why you see clarifies as to which UID we are referring to when doing specific messages. Okay. The whole goal of the check-in process is to go from a payload and thus payload UID to a full callback and thus callback UID. Okay, okay. So at the end of the staging and everything, you end up with a new UID that you use as the other UID. So as we speak before, when you generate a payload, and we're gonna verify that with Medusa. One thing about Medusa that I like so much is that you can define the encrypted implant to be false, and then you can see the whole implant script, and we can kind of assemble the pieces. So when you generate a beacon, we're gonna need to use the UID from Mythic, which is just up until the point where the callback is created. So when the callback is there, and we have a successful check-in command, then a Mythic is gonna instantiate a new UID, which you're gonna operate with. Okay, so I guess we have to read the important parts. If you already exiting callback sends a check-in message more than once, Mythic simply uses the information to update information about the callback rather than try to register a new one. Oh, okay, okay. So if we send multiple check-ins, it's not gonna be a problem. In egress agent messages, you can opt for a 60-byte big endian format for the UID. If Mythic gets a message from an agent with this format, then it will respond with the same format. However, we are not doing P2P now, and so far we are not that into it. Now, the plain text check-in is useful for testing and creating an agent. Yep, that's what we need, guys. That's what we need. When creating payloads, you can generate encryption keys per C2 profile. To do so, the C2 profile we have parameter that has attribute crypt type equals true. This will then signal the Mythic to either generate a new payload with that key, or your agent, in the HTTP profile, for example, this shows an option between AS256 HMAC and super thank you for the following. I really appreciate you, man. Or none. So if you want to do plain text operations, we're gonna set that to none, and that should be enough. Okay. And Mythic will automatically try to crypt the rest of the message. Okay, the checking has the following format. That's super important. So we have again base 64, and that's the whole body is gonna be base 64. I mean that whole thing. And we have payload UID, which I believe we should get from Mythic Builder as its feature set self.uid. And then we have the JSON. All of them are base 64 encoded. And in the JSON we have action check-in, okay, which is required. Okay. UID also required. And others are not. I mean, it's obviously important to have them, but they are not mandatory. Which means that we can create our initial beacon to create a check-in, and then based on that, we can add them different things like get the IP address of the machine, OS, user, host, and all the needed parameters which are defined here. And pretty much these are all the options when you get a beacon from Mythic. All the options there, pretty much that's how they're represented. Yeah. Okay, so the integrity level is an integer from 1 to 4, which means, from WoW to system. WoW is 1, system is 4, alright. On Linux, these don't have a great mapping, but you can think of 2 as standard user, 3 as a user that is in the sudoers file. Thanks for the following, appreciate you so much. And by the way, I did not, actually, I played once from a Linux server with a Mythic beacon. I even don't remember the agent, but so far we are focused on Windows. And now here's the example check-in message. So I believe this should be the same, but what we can do is do base 64 decode, go there, paste that, decode, agree, of course. And so we have sample UID and the JSON file. Exactly, okay. process name. Oh, we can also, oh, nice. We can also include the process name. Nice, okay, good. All right. And then the check-in has the following response: check-in, ID, status. So success, we all know what that means. All right. So static encryption, we don't need that so far. Encryption key exchange, we still don't need that. And now I think it's time to go to the code. Yeah, because all the other examples are for either delegates or for encryption exchange, so encrypted communication. But as mentioned, that's not something that you need. So now it's time to go to the code, try to follow that, and let's first analyze what Medusa do. So on the Medusa, we have inside the agent code, we have the base agent. And what Medusa does is something like a packer. Because you have things like crypto here, you have also other strings like commands here, and that is getting detected, I can say, in runtime. So in runtime, no matter what command you specify, they're gonna get appended to here, and eventually this always gonna get built up. All right. So our idea is to do the same but in PowerShell. So we want our end code to be in PowerShell, and we want somehow to get the data out of that process. Now all the things here are, I believe, got from the builder.py. But first, let's observe some of the commands. We have the check-in. That's something we need. Actually, that's the first thing we need. Now we have the host name. We have the IP, which I think is going to get populated, I believe, with some self parameters. And then we have the data. So we have action, check-in, IP, all the environment data that we have, and these are the keys we don't need so far. Then we have encoded data. We base64 encode the UUID. All right, that's the thing. And then self-encrypt JSON dumps data.encode. Makes sense. Then we have decoded data, but why? Decoded data is equal self-decrypt. Yeah, make request, encoded data, post. So that's doing post request. Does the check-in action has to be a get or post request? I mean, based on the docs, it should not make any difference. I don't know. And now if status in decoded data, so if we have the status as the first place, it can be either, yeah. So the checking can be either get or post. In that case, the creator of Medusa decided to be post. And then the UID is JSON words, decoded data. Then that's where he gets the new UID. Okay. It saves it. So agent config UID is equal to the new one. And then we return true. And that's it. I think that's it, yeah. We have another function that's been executed, which is make request, which is that one there. So I get lost a little bit. Here we do a post request, but here we do get, or maybe this thing explicitly says that the make request to be post. So define the headers. If methods get, we do that. Else we do that. So, but what's that? So I'm gonna do like map otherwise. So if the method is get, which is the default, I believe, then we have request equals URL request. Yeah, it's outdated. Self agent config server. So we define the server there. Okay, we define the port. We define the URI. And what was the URI? We're gonna see that. Okay. Else it should be post in that case. Then again we define the server, we define the port, the URI, data, headers. Okay. So this is about cert skip. Oh wait, that's not cert skip. That's if we operate over. No, I get it. I don't get it. Let's see the code. If agent config proxy, that's about the proxy. All right. So if we have a self-signed certificate, this should get populated in runtime by the builder.py. Then we have if proxy host, then we operate with the proxies. All right, we don't need proxy so far, and that's it. So the main core logic of the function is the first rows where we read the headers, define the method, and if the method is get, we execute the request this way. If the method is post, we execute the request this way. And in runtime, we define up above the request to be post. All right, it makes sense now. Now I can understand what Medusa is actually doing and how the checking works. But now one thing I can't understand is how the payload is built. So let's go to agent functions, go to builder.py, and let's try to somehow understand the core logic behind that. So a lot of the syntax here are well known. So we have the name, and pretty much that was the reason we ended up debugging our agent for hour and something. So the name here must be the same as this one and as this one, actually, as this one there. So we have the file extension, py, we have the author, shout out to the author, did a nice job. We have the supported OS, so that's how you can define in the Mythic UI which OS you want your beacon to be about. Wrapper, false, still don't know what that is, but not gonna touch it now. We have the Mythic encrypt, so it's either true or none. That's about it. Then we have no, this payload use Python to create simple agent. Supports dynamic loading, true, not sure what that is. And we have some build parameters. So the first build parameter is of course the output. So we have either py, base64. We have another build parameter, so that's how you specify what parameters you want for your code. We have Python version. We have use non-default cryptography, okay. Obfuscate, okay. And then do HTTPS check. So that's why we have the hashtag command for self-signed certificate. So if you do yes on that, then I think the code would be appended there. Okay, good. Then we have some paths to your agent icon, and to your agent code, which is super important. And then we have build steps. All right. In the first step, we have gathering files. Okay. And in the next step, we have obfuscating script. And I think that's optional because based on what we do here. All right. And then we start with functions. So with that case, we have the class, and all these values are class members. But what if we need to do it in PowerShell? To be honest, I've never done a class in PowerShell. Oh, we can. Okay. It's all OP, so should be able to. Yeah, so in theory in PowerShell, if we create a class and define the same thing as Medusa, in theory it should work. Why not? We define the same, not the same values, but the same template. So we define a class with a name, which is string, file extension again string, author, and all the stuff. I think that should be recognizable by Mythic, even though it's PowerShell. Oh wait. Actually, we need to do it in Python because in agent functions, we always have to stick between Python and Go. But that's what I'm trying to figure out, how to make the whole chain from Python, Mythic, Python, and your code. Yeah. That part, the agent definition would be still in Python. Yeah, exactly. Or Golang, since it's on the Mythic server side. Yeah. So thank you so much. This is, again, we have to be cautious and not get lost again. So all inside the agent function, or actually inside Mythic, this is all the Mythic infrastructure, which means that this is not the real code for the CP command. That's how Mythic sees and interprets CP command. Including that's the builder of the payload, which always must be in Python or Go. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for that. I'm really trying to not get lost this time. uh, Then we have some functions which I believe are standard for the agent. We need to take a look at Apple for that, but no, that's actually not being standard. So get Python version, that's self-explanatory, and build, yeah, that's a standard one. So I think all agent must have such build function, and pretty much that's it. So we have a class. We can have a class here which has its own attributes. All right, these are all class members, and then we have one custom added function to get the Python version. And then we have one function which is build. So that function is going to build our payload. I have one question, by the way, for it's a feature. You see, when I'm coding that, when I open that in Visual Studio, a lot of the references are not recognized. For instance, build response and something like a custom Mythic stuff. Do you have any idea how I can develop easier? Like, how can I add these things to my IDE so they're resolved and I can easy develop the code? Because that's important. We're gonna need to fast change things. But yeah, so far, let's try to analyze what's going on inside the build command. So in that case, we specify self. When we specify self, I guess in that self, that's one more reason why I want to have some more clarity about that. I believe in that self, we have a lot of things, a lot of configurations there, like the initial UID. So we pass the self, then we have response, build response, status success. Okay, so I'm not sure in Visual Studio Code specifically, but that data is in the Mythic container pipe package. So maybe you just need to install it locally on your host or in VCS. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense, by the way. Yeah, okay. Let's now try to understand what the build is gonna do. So we define a response. Okay, that's a variable, which equals to build response. Okay, I don't get that row. Maybe its feature can give us more details, but I don't get that. We have the build message, and then we have try. We have command code is empty. After that, we're gonna look at Apple so we can see the differences. I know Medusa is outdated, but it's outdated. It's more simple, and that's why it serves us, I believe, better so far. We have command code is empty string. For CMD in self commands get commands. So the code is self-explanatory. We get the commands. Command path is self get Python version file. All right. All right. So what happens here is we read the commands, and we all read all the commands inside a code variable. The build function returns an instance of a class that gives context about what happened during the build. Did it succeed? Oh, makes sense. What's the final payload bytes? Any std out, std error, all that is tracked in the build response class that gets returned at the end of the build function. Aha! Thank you so much. Makes sense now. So that response variable tracks what happened with our agent creation. Here we define the commands. Then we open the file base agent, and base agent based on the version, of course. That's why we need to get the Python version here. So what happens, and here also, of course. So we first define the commands, then we open the base agent for reading. And most likely, we need to overwrite the commands with our commands there. So first, we check if this parameter is yes. If that's yes, oh, okay, let me do that. So if that's yes, crypto code, we open cryptolib in read mode. Else, we open manual crypto in read mode. So these are the files here. So we have the base agent, cryptolib, and manual crypto. So based in, if we want to choose from that option, which is the use non-default cryptography, we read different files. So far, it's like a read file operations. And then base code, which is our base agent based on the corresponding Python version. Then the base code will replace stuff inside. That's why I mentioned it's like a packer. So we have the base code replace, we replace crypto with the crypto code, replace the UID with self.uuid, which is brought from Mythic. And then the base code, we again replace the commands here with the command code. So each command we define, they're getting read into one single variable, and then they're dropped at the place where we have command here. So that part is all about defining a build response. And here we actually read all the needed files and replace the code. So at this point on, we have our Python agent pretty much ready in memory. At least I believe so. Okay, then for C2 in C2 self, C2 info, that's I believe the C2 profiles, I believe. Yeah, profile is equal C2 get C2 profile and name. In that case, it should be HTTP. Okay. We define some checks for HTTPS, the option we had before, and then that's where we actually replace the cert skip. Okay. If the build message is not empty, yeah, we define some kind of error handling here. And now here where it gets interesting. So await send Mythic RPC payload update build step. So I believe that should be the Mythic function, which is unique for the Mythic, which builds the payload. I believe. So no matter what you code here, if it's a PowerShell, even C, you're gonna end up running that. Okay, so not quite. Yeah, waiting some explanation. Oh, send Mythic RPC payload update build step. Ah, wait. That's the we update the build step process. So with that function, yeah, so that's a build step function. Updates a piece that in the UI indicates to the user how far along the build process you are. Yeah. Thanks so much. So for example, when using Apple and you click create payload, you have like 3 or 4 steps, which are like generating files, compiling, doing donut if you specify shellcode, and all these steps are represented with this function. Okay, so what does this thing do here now? So I think that's also generic for Mythic. Then we define the payload UID, step name. Okay, good. Okay, so here we define that we generate all the files. Yeah. Then if self get parameter for obfuscate script, then yeah, we perform some kind of obfuscation and we obfuscate the whole variable. All right. Then send Mythic update step. We obfuscate the script. Yep. Then we have another step, which is, oh yeah, that's an if statement. So if that's done and it's okay, good. I mean, if that, then we do that. Else, we directly jump because obfuscation not required. All right. Then if self get parameter output base 64, we encrypt the whole payload. All right. And that's it. Okay, but how do we build the payload? I mean, so far we have some steps, like generated files, obfuscated scripts in that case, but where is the Mythic code to actually... Oh, it's the response. That case is the response. Because here we ended up having a ready beacon in our memory. So in some response fields, I believe maybe text or payload, we're gonna end up having our beacon ready. So it's most likely the response of payload. So in theory, if we follow that template, create a PowerShell code and save that into the response, then we're gonna have a beacon, I believe. So I have some questions so far. And that question is, what would happen? So exactly, that response.payload is what gets saved on the disks on the Mythic server that you can then download. Nice, nice. We're getting somewhere, guys. But I have a question. So just to get that right, because I'm still trying to uh, figure out all the pieces. What will happen if I don't install an agent, but I directly replicate this code in PowerShell and execute it? So what would happen if I manually go over? I don't have the installed agent. I manually go over my base agent, replace all the values I need. Oh, but then I would not have the payload UID. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. So now what happens is that we need to uh, first create our base PowerShell agent. Then we're gonna need to create our first command, and then we're gonna tweak the builder.py in order to generate our payload using the same tasks as here. I think that makes sense. Just to be sure, let me take a look at Apu agent C2. Go to payload type, Apu, Apu again, agent. Oh no, it's in Mythic. Then go to agent functions, builder.py, and let's see. We have again class Apu. We have all the options, we have the building step, and we have the build method, which is that, but it's, oh, we have one more, get C# files. Here the whole method looks like it's really bigger. So let's try to take a look at it super quick. So we have the same response, define command tuple. Okay, so that makes the whole command uppercase. There's a success message. That's for delegations. We don't need that now. For C2 is C2 self C2 info. We get the C2 profile, pretty much the same thing. We exchange keys in here. Yeah, I think it's more complicated to look at that. But yeah, we are doing the same thing. We have one template file for the base agent, which Mythic calls base agent. We can replace the build function to simply return success, no payload or anything. Then in your UI, you have UID. You can then copy over your agent code for local development. Oh, that's a smart one. Oh, I have the feeling that this guy has done some development for Mythic. Okay, so we can try that. I'm gonna go to my Mythic instance, like that. And here, so as far as I get you, we don't need to install agent and so on. We can do that for local development. So for that case, I'm gonna exit the callback. And what happens when, because I already have UID from my Medusa agent, can I reuse it? Not sure. Never mind. So you mean that now I can simply return success with no payload or anything, which is actually I need the builder.py. Return response. You mean like that? Why not? Okay. So I need to now reinstall the agent, I believe. But luckily we did some automation before. So I can go to cd opt mythic, and here I can do sudo -i and do recompile.sh. That's gonna get the files here, gonna migrate into the installed services. It's gonna reinstall that. So we just have automated way to make changes, which is nice, I believe. So now if everything's all right, you mean that if I do generate new payload, or actually if I do like that, oh yeah, that's the error for the OPSEC safe reasons. But oh wait. I messed up with the wrong path. So it's like example container, not the Medusa. We're not gonna touch that. So I can go to open folder, I can go to home, to desktop, example containers, select, and now here that's our code we did the last time. Now you can see we have just two functions. We have the exit, actually that's it, exit, and I think we had one more like ls. Never mind. So in that case, inside the builder.py, here you see you tell me that I can simply return like that response. Okay, let's try to recompile. Also, when you go through the build the payload, make sure in the HTTP profile you select none for the encryption. Okay. Otherwise, Mythic will associate crypto with your UID and you failed to check it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Now this payload is online. I'm gonna go here, action, create new payload, basic Python agent. Okay, if HTTP VVS, I'd have to click no on that. Move all the commands. HTTP. What's my IP address? So callback port 80. Encryption type none, and I have to ping to click to turn off the perform key exchange. I think. All right, that's supposed to be it. Okay, pivot. Yeah, we have. That's nice. Pivot successfully built. No steps found. Just the pivot is ready. Okay, let's see if I download what's gonna happen now. Where I can find the UID. Details. There it is. Okay, we have the UID. And now you say that with this UID I can test locally, right? So that means if I create a PowerShell template, use that UID, I should be able to create a check-in. Is that correct? In your local PowerShell code, just use that UID and you're good. Oh, nice. So that's nice. That's nice. That's how development is easier. Okay, so now let's see what we need to do. We need to go over the base agent, which is here, and we need to replicate that behavior in PowerShell. Now, of course, a lot of you guys can say, why don't you just spam that to ChatGPT and tell him to convert that into PowerShell, and that you should be completely actually right about that. But I mean, that's not the point, because the point is for us to learn how to do the things. I mean, of course, you can work with ChatGPT, but I'm not that type of guy. I just get super, let's say, annoyed with ChatGPT sometimes. All right, so now let's try to develop something there. So in that case, I'm gonna now switch to my command VM. Okay, now here Let me go with code or ISE. Which one, guys, you prefer? Let's go with ISE. Why not? Okay. What was I doing? Oh yeah, that's a basic shellcode error. All right, try to pass. Paste, please. Hey, why you're not working? Please, please explain. Oh, I'm getting frustrated at that. I'm sure we're gonna need some kind of a copy paste between during the session, so I'm gonna just restart the guest. Hope that's gonna help. And also, what I can do is open Notepad from here. Okay. Now, when you vote and boot up, then you have to click copy. Before that, it's getting corrupted. I think so. So I'm gonna again open the ISC. All right. Now open the notepad like that. Create a new one. Paste. Come on. All right. All right. All right. All right. There it is. Why is it supposed to be so hard? Okay. Yeah, finally. Okay. Now, actually, I can do full screen now. All right. First, what's my IP? I'm not sure what happened. Let's use code for that. Let's do new folder. Actually, new file. What is going on with that system? I'm really not sure. Okay, finally, we have something. Now we don't need for the base check-in, we don't need a lot of stuff. Like we're gonna leave get tasking, but actually we're not gonna leave. We're gonna remove it. We don't need it anymore. I just want to check in, and after I know to check in, then we can proceed to do different things like get tasking and so on. I just want the basic check-in. So we don't need that. Maybe we need that. Yep. Format response. Post message retrieve response. Get message retrieve response. We don't need that also. Format message. Whip to here is not needed. Get the OS version is not needed. Get the username. I mean, that's one whoami command. But yeah, let's leave it like that. We're just gonna get username, format message, and that's it. We also don't need that. We also Do we need that? Maybe let's stick it here. Okay. And yeah, the commands are also important. All right. So that's our payload. But what else I think is we can get the precompiled agent from Medusa, and then we can use that because it's gonna be easier for us to see it. Right. Yep. Let's do that. So on here, I can go back to Mythic. I'm gonna save that for later on. I'm gonna do create new agent, Windows. Oh, we don't have the Medusa. Yeah, never mind. I'm starting to get lost. Okay. So we need to translate that into PowerShell. So what we have is some kind of functions: get username, format message, and so on. All right, we have that. We have the check-in. We have the make request. How to represent it in PowerShell? Not sure. Yeah, it's gonna be easier. I just need to do it. I'm gonna install Medusa. Super easy, super quick. Actually, from GitHub. Uh, Now here we can do like Mythic CLI install GitHub and paste. I mean, the install GitHub, you're doing the same thing, copying that into install services, compiling, and so on, but automatic. So we don't have to do anything. Yeah, there it is. So now we can do here. Yep, there it is, the Medusa. Now I can do action, generate payload, Windows, Medusa. I have no for obfuscation. I'm gonna add the very simple exit command. I don't want anything else. Exit. That's it. Boom. Then I have to. Maybe there's another bug because I really can't seem to find the next. So if the monitor is smaller, you can't find the next button. Okay, so next, go to HTTP. Now my IP again. Paste. None. Remove that. Next. And create payload. Alright, so download the agent here. And there is the code. So that's a fully functional beacon, including the UID. All the parameters have been set and brought up from the Mythic C2. So if we scroll down, we can see the UID, the callback URI, including the full path. So we're gonna use that for our reference because we have all the data we need. Now, for that to happen, I really hope that I can paste it now. Nope, I paste the old version. So what we can do is again do the same trick. So I'm gonna open a notepad here, and that notepad there, I'm gonna paste the new code. Yep, okay. Here, here, perfect. Now here, here. There it is, now it worked. Okay, perfect. And I'm gonna save that to medusa.py. Okay, perfect. Now I can do file, open file, desktop, and medusa.py. Okay. That's the fully functional beacon that we need. So I can go full screen now. And let's try to now tweak it to work with PowerShell. Okay, so I think we have to remove all of the stuff, like encrypt, decrypt, and so on. There's the class, and these methods are all inside the class. So get username, get OS version, and so on and so on and so on. But all we need is the checking part and the make request. So we don't need that. We don't need that. I want to see just the check-in. We have the exit. Yeah, we can leave that. We also need this logic here. And now let's see. We have the check-in. And beside the check-in, we don't need the tasking. We don't need the proceed tasking. We don't need process tasks. We pretty much can I do it like that? I mean, what can go wrong if I do it like that? Now if I do, actually I'm gonna store the imports like that. Now here fix the indentation. Yeah, maybe. That's what it's getting called. Oh, like that. All right, now in theory, if I run this Python code, I should see, yeah, I should see a beacon pop up. So can I do Python medusa.py? Medusa is not defined. It should be defined. We have, oh, we deleted the class. Okay. I think it should be here. Yeah. It's class. Yeah, there it is. So in theory, we have to fix the indentation now again. Like that. If I run it, we have to fix a little bit of the things. So yeah, if self agent config UID is equals to nothing, self check-in, agent sleep. Why don't we do just that? Can I do just that? But why my sleep is not there? Why my code doesn't want to sleep? Import time. Oh, okay. Okay. What will happen now? I don't have that. I deleted it. Get OS. Oh, okay. Okay. The things have code here. Mhm. Yeah, we need the encryption methods. Okay, okay. So we have encrypt, decrypt, which are here. Okay, nice. So if we go to Mythic, there it is. There it is. We have a check-in action with the bare minimum. We're not gonna see last check-in update because we didn't code it to perform a last check-in. Maybe if it sleeps for 10 seconds or 10, I'm not sure, 1000 seconds, then it's going to create another check-in. But yeah, we have a check-in action. Super nice. Now, as I mentioned, in theory, if I do, where was that? Where was the while loop? I think in the very, yeah, here. Maybe if I do one, if I run again, yeah, new check-ins. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, perfect. That's what I need. Great. Now we can do hide multiple, hide them. And now we have some kind of a base. That's more than enough progress. All right. We have a base, and now we need to convert that base into PowerShell. So we have all the needed modules, which are pretty much, yeah, this, we don't need that, we don't need that. We have the imports. We have one class, which has encrypts and decrypts the message. And then we have the check-in function, make request function, and that's it. So I'm not sure what that init thing do. As far as I know, the init is executed whenever a new class is there. So when you instantiate an object, that thing is getting populated and executed. That's what I believe. Yeah, thanks so much, man. I wouldn't be so fast without your help, so definitely appreciate it. Yeah, constructor. Exactly. Constructor. Okay. So that's the constructor for the class, which means when we create the object, these fields are gonna get populated. Okay. Great. And then after that, after the constructor, or that's in the constructor. That's in the constructor we started. So check in and boom, that's it. Is it possible to remotely load Python code like you can remotely load classes like in Java? I think, yeah, if you have the Python interpreter on the remote system, I think it should be possible without a problem. If you have the Python interpreter. If not, not gonna happen. Ah, is it too late now? Yeah, we can do a little bit more. We have a lot of progress. Nice, that's so nice. We have the base, the bare minimum that we can operate, and now we can start creating something custom and translating that into something custom. Okay, so let's start by how to create classes in PowerShell. Yeah, give me the examples. Class book, that's the default constructor, that's all the methods. That's gonna be too much. Yeah, so I think we have to leave that for the next one, to be honest. I'm already feel a little bit burned up, and we have a lot of new context. We got some super nice things in the documentation, and that's why you guys please read docs when you have some kind of problems. And I have to really appreciate it's a feature support, because without him, it should be super longer. But now we know the core of the Mythic. We know how to structure the messages. We know what methods to use, what endpoints to deliver them, and pretty much how to perform a communication in the debug environment, which is some huge progress from our side. Let's answer some questions. So if you have questions, things to say, now is the time, guys. So we have an idea An idea would be your Python malware script iterates over the whole drive and injects remote world code into each other Python script it was. So if they remove original malware, they have malware again. Yeah, that's a legit persistent trick. I did that in a hack the box machine, I believe. Not cannot quite remember, but one of the previous methods there were about you corrupting a Python library which ends up executed as root to the cron job, something like that. So you corrupt the library itself because it was readable. So when the root executes the cron job, it was the Python script, which is his custom, but his custom script executes your library, and then you get the code. So that's a completely legit persistent technique, which is quite stealth, I can say. So yeah, definitely you can do that. But the main part of this development series is to create something that is not there, and I chose PowerShell because it's an OOP language, and also it's kind of not like C because, to be honest, if I am to do an agent on C with Mythic and all that integration, it should be super painful, much more painful that is expected to be. Yeah, so we had a lot of progress, guys. That was really nice. And in the next part, next Monday, we're gonna start right off the bat to translating this code into PowerShell. So we're gonna create a class, create all the methods inside, populate the method, use the debugging QUID, and eventually we're gonna end up the actually the plan is to end up having a check-in as a PowerShell agent next time. So I really have to thank you so much for watching. I have to really thank It's a Feature for all the support throughout this stream. Thank you so much, brother. And yeah, see you again in the next one. If you have questions, hit me up in the Discord. And again, if you appreciate such content, don't hesitate and become my Patreon. Thanks so much. And moving on, see you guys really into the next week.